What is up, guys? Misha here from Beyond the Huddle, and welcome to this week's altcoin forecast. As always, we'll take a look at Bitcoin, kind of review what has happened ever since Ralphie made his video yesterday, and then we'll get into the altcoin. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into it. Okay, guys, we're now looking at the Bitcoin price, and as Ralph mentioned yesterday, the COT is still bullish. Asset managers have increased their longs and they've also decreased their shorts. So that's telling us that they have a bullish outlook on the market. So we want to be trading in line with them. So we want to be bullish. Now, however, what we're looking at in terms of the price and the charts is that we are below the monthly key level. And then we are also hanging around the weekly key level. So this week's key level has been very close to the weekly open, almost exactly the same area as you guys can see right here. The weekly opens right here. The weekly key level for last week is right here. So that's going to be interesting to see how we move around this key level. So far, we've been going up and down, not really decisively moving above nor below it. But the key important thing is, as I had mentioned, and Ralphie mentioned that as well, another very important level that we had for Bitcoin was this area right here. And you guys can see that we had a fake move right below that. And then now we have had a rejection. So hopefully we can stay above that level, stay above the weekly open / weekly level. And then hopefully we can then go above the new month key level, because this key level right here was for last month and we're still below that. But tomorrow is your new month, so we'll have a new key level and hopefully we can be above that. So that's kind of what we're looking at on Bitcoin. Odds of this month closing bullish are pretty slim because we are below the monthly open. We would have to go up another 5.4% in order to close the month bullish. Could it happen? Absolutely. Do I think it will happen? Probably not. So everything's going to be about how we maneuver around the new monthly key level and the new monthly open starting tomorrow. So but overall, based on what the COT is telling us, we want to be bullish. Now, the question is, should we be in on Bitcoin or should we be in on altcoin? So we'll answer that in the next segment as I look at the Bitcoin and altcoin index. All right, guys, we are now looking at the indexes, and you guys can see that the total market cap, which is including Bitcoin and altcoins, is starting to go bullish this week. We're hanging around the monthly open, and what we would want to see is we want to see the index go above the monthly open and start being bullish. Now, you guys saw how Bitcoin was very far away from its monthly open. However, the total market cap is right around it, and the reason for that is because altcoins have been pushing the total market cap up, and we'll be able to see that when we look at the Bitcoin / altcoin index. So right now, what we want to see is this go above the monthly open and sustain above that, and then we can potentially start to see new higher highs. What we don't want to see is see this monthly open used as resistance and then price starting to come down. Now, let's look at the altcoin index and do an analysis on that. If you guys remember from the last video, we had mentioned this 3-day supply right here, and we were talking about this daily open right there. And as you guys can see, we went back and retested that 3-day supply. We have not broken that daily demand and the monthly open. And now we're going above this quarterly open. Now, if you guys have been following the channel for a little bit, you know that this is the main level that I wanted to see prices go back above, because once we go back above that level right here, we can then start to expect the quarterly expansion. So that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Now, obviously, today is only a daily candle, so a daily close above that is good. That's a promising sign. But what I would rather see is a full weekly close above this quarterly open, which would allow for some pretty interesting price action for the month of December. As we all know, during bull markets, a lot of time, Q4 is one of the most aggressive ones. So if we want to see that happen this year, we want to see prices stay above that quarterly open. Now, what is our new support? Well, I'm going to get rid of this right here because we already hit that resistance level. Now our new support is going to be this level right here. So we want to stay above this in the weekly open, and as long as we stay above that, we have a chance of expanding above this quarterly open. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing, and this is basically telling us, guys, if this happens, that we should be in altcoins and not in Bitcoin, because this would tell us that altcoins would be outperforming Bitcoin, which is one of the main things that we need to know whenever we are trying to invest in the crypto market. Should we be in on Bitcoin or should we be in on altcoins? Because if you don't, then you're going to be in on Bitcoin and then see altcoins flying while Bitcoin might be going up a little bit or consolidating, or vice versa. You might be in on altcoins and then they're not moving much while Bitcoin is flying. So you always want to know which sector you want to be in. Do you want to be in on altcoins or do you want to be in on Bitcoin? So right now, based on this data, we want to be in on altcoins. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at some altcoins. All right, guys, we are now looking at the Ethereum BTC price, and as we saw in the previous segment, altcoins should be outperforming Bitcoin. So now it's a matter of looking at those individual altcoins and then taking a look at their chart and seeing where our important support levels are and where which price targets do we can we potentially target. So right now we're looking at the daily chart on Ethereum BTC, and from the last time we spoke about this chart, we were talking about this area right here, this daily demand right here being used as support. And as you guys can see, the following day, price came down, retested this area again, and then we finally broke through this resistance point right here. Now, in the last video, I did mention a target that was somewhere around here, and I was talking about it as the all-time high, which was an actual mistake. So thanks to the Twitter user that did point that out to me, that was not the all-time high. I'm not sure why I wrote all-time high on as a label on that line, but our actual target right now is this area right here. So if we go into a weekly time frame, you guys will see that this is a weekly supply right here, and that's the current target that I have on Ethereum BTC. So that means that we're looking at a potential rally of about 10% on Ethereum BTC, which means Ethereum would be outperforming Bitcoin by 10%. We're above the quarterly open, we're above the monthly open, and we're above the weekly open. Now, Ethereum BTC being so far above its quarterly open is telling us that this quarter, Ethereum has completely outperformed Bitcoin. And right now, what we're seeing with the altcoin/Bitcoin index is that altcoins the index is starting to go above its quarterly open, which means that odds are going to go crazy against Bitcoin, and especially this one because we're already above the quarterly open on that one. So there's definitely underlying strength on Ethereum. So again, now our next support area is going to be this yellow area right here with this daily demand right there. So if we combine these two daily candles right there, that would be our next support area. So that's the area that would allow for price to drop down before potentially going higher. But again, what we could see is price continue to rise and hit this target. So 0.0892 is our target for Ethereum BTC. So right now we're going to go ahead and take a look at our next altcoin. Actually, guys, before we look at our second altcoin for today's video, let's take a quick look at Ethereum USD. And if you guys remember, we were talking about this daily demand right here being used as support. And then we were also talking about this level being the one that should not get broken, because if it did, then we'd expect a way bigger retracement. And as you guys can see, this area has been respected. Now, what we're looking at was that we wanted to see price come back into this daily supply right here, which is currently doing. We have the all-time high sitting right here, and then our target too right here at 5,500. It's basically 54.84, but we'll just call it 5,500. And that's where we'd expect prices to go back, well, to go up into. Now, as support, what we want to see is the monthly open is about to switch tomorrow. So not too worried about that one at the moment, but this weekly open right here, we want to stay above that weekly open. And obviously we have this big down candle right here. So if we look at that as our support area, we could take about the equilibrium of that, and that would give us right around this weekly open right here. So that's the area that we would not want to see get broken. And then now we want to see a break above this daily supply and this all-time high to take us into our target 2 on Ethereum. So again, that's pretty much what I'm seeing on Ethereum. Now let's go ahead and actually take a look at our second altcoin for today. All right, guys, we are now looking at our second altcoin for today, which is ZECBTC. And again, we're looking at the Bitcoin cross because we do want to see who's going to outperform Bitcoin. That's what we're truly interested in. So that's why we're looking mostly at the Bitcoin cross. So if you guys remember from the last video, I was talking about this area being a target, and that was our weekly supply. And you guys can see price hit it perfectly. And then we had a second target, which was this daily supply right here, which we barely missed. And now we're seeing a retracement. Now, what I had mentioned in the last video was that this was going to be our support area if we did get a retracement. Now, we did get a bounce off of the high of that daily demand. Now, let's move it down to the open. We did get a bounce off of that. And then now this week opens, drop down into this demand again. And now what we would want this to be is the fake move of this week, creating the bottom side wick of that weekly candle. And then we would want to see price go back above the weekly open. So what we would want to see right now is if we go down into a lower time frame, you guys can see that we're below the weekly or below the daily, right? So what we want to see is tomorrow, we want to see tomorrow's price go above its open and then make its way above the weekly open right here, which would then allow for prices to then go higher and reach your second target. Because you guys want to think of this as a fractal. So if we're already below the weekly open, in order for us to go above the weekly open, we first have to go above the daily open, which makes logical sense. So right now, this daily open is all the way up here. So odds of us going above both of these levels today, it's very slim. But since tomorrow is a new day, we'll have a new daily open. And then we want to start to see prices to start to go above the openings on the lower time frame to target the opening on a higher time frame, if that makes any sense. Now, if this area were to give way right here, what we'd want to see is this area respected. If this does not get respected, then we're going to see a way deeper retracement around these areas right here. We have a 3-day demand right there. So that's where we could see a retracement down into if we're not able to respect these two levels that I have here, this one and that one. And then as target, you guys already know we have this target right here. And then if we go into a higher time frame, you guys will remember we have this target up here. But again, this is very, very, very far away. So I would not worry about that one too much for now. I'm mostly interested in reaching for this daily supply, which from current prices would take us up another 36.9%. So that's going to be it for today, guys. That's the altcoin forecast. Hopefully you guys got some value from this. If you did, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. And if you want to see updates on these videos real time as the market develops, make sure to follow us on Twitter at @BeyondTheHuddle. Make sure to check out our Telegram at @BeyondTheHuddle. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.